Hello and welcome to Best of the Bets. My name's Christina Nicolaides and we're looking at the best betting opportunities for this weekend's football. I'm joined by our regular guests. We have Sam Dymond, who is our football expert and editor of bestofthebets.com. We also have Gareth Walker, bookie and new dad, so congratulations on the little arrival. We're going to start looking at Premier League fixtures on Saturday. We're going to start though with Manchester United are hosting Norwich. Manchester United 12 points clear.
The prices are United at 1.3, the draw's 5.5, and Norwich are available at 10. Pulled off a shock last week.
They did pull off a shock last week, and it's a shock that has pretty much guaranteed their survival, I would say, in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's certainly alleviated the pressure on them. So they can go to Old Trafford and they can play without fear, really. And what we have seen from Norwich this season is they don't tend to be blown away. They've only really been beaten out of sight by Liverpool twice and Fulham this season. I think only 4 of their 27 games has there been more than 1 goal in it either way. So their games are notoriously tight.
But can they really take
well, the thing
on?
is, we expect Alex Ferguson to put out a sort of second-string team. Now, we know he's
still strong.
Yeah, they are still strong. We've seen them beat West Ham, we've seen them beat Fulham, we've seen them beat Reading in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I think they will win again here. You might want to look at other goal-scoring alternatives to usual. Hernandez, Welbeck, even Ryan Giggs, who's back on the scoring trail. But I think Norwich can certainly go there and give them a game. And I'd take them here on the Asian handicap.
Well, the one that would interest me the most for this one would be to take Norwich with a 1.25 goal head start. So whenever we've got quarters or 3/4 involved, you've got to remember that your stake is split. So in this case, half the stake goes on Norwich at +1, and half the stake goes on Norwich +1.5. So if Norwich win or Norwich draw, then the bet wins. If Manchester United win by 1 goal, then half of the bet is a winner because half the bet is at Norwich +1.5, so they win on the handicap, and the other half of the stake is actually refunded because with Asian handicaps, Norwich +1, if Manchester United win by 1, that part of the bet, the money is refunded. So it's a good option, and the fact that Sam mentions about Norwich losing so many games by 1 goal that they do lose, for all Ferguson's talk and for all Ferguson's ability to motivate, there's got to be eyes and attention on that game coming up on Tuesday. It's just you can't play down how massive that game is against Madrid. Hernandez is a possibility for first goal scorer. He's available at 5. He's always someone you'd want to look at in a game like this, where surely Van Persie and Rooney will start on the bench. Perhaps one of them will play, but surely Hernandez has got to be up front, main man. 5's a big price, and then a couple of correct scores. 2-1 available at 7.9, or 2-0's available at 5.3 if you think United might edge it by 2.
I think United's defence has tightened up recently, but there's still those moments of uncertainty. So I think an interesting option this weekend is Kai Kamara, who has made 2 substitute appearances now for Norwich against Fulham and Everton, and sort of shaken up the game both times. He's looked quite a handful. He's 6 to score at any time, and it might be worth a go.
Yeah, I wouldn't put you off that.
OK, we're going to move on to Southampton versus QPR.
Southampton are 1.8. Draw 3.8 and QPR are 4.9. They badly need the win.
And Southampton are playing really, really well.
They are. Although I do think maybe we've all got slightly carried away with it. I think their defeat at Newcastle has left them firmly in that relegation battle. Yeah. But I think what they have done this season is they've played very well against the teams in the bottom 3. I think they've played 4 games against the teams currently in the bottom 3 and won the lot. And Southampton now, they're clearly adhering to this pressing game that Mauricio Pochettino favours. They've scored 8 goals in the last 4 games. Conversely, they have conceded 9. So there's going to be opportunities at both ends, I think. Ricky Lambert, he's certainly worth looking at this weekend, but he'll be up against Chris Samba, so that'll be sort of 2 heavyweights going up against it together.
Although Chris Samba still isn't at full fitness either, so...
Well, he fits right in with that team along with about 4 or 5 other players. So you might want to look at some more agile players worth making a mark in this game. I think Adam Lallana is a great little player.
Yeah.
And I think I've 9 to score first could be an option.
Gareth?
I think this 1.8 Southampton could be one of the best betting opportunities of the season.
Yeah.
In a way, the fact that Southampton lost at Newcastle means that the players are very clear. We're still right in the middle of this dogfight, and this is an absolute must-win game. One other thing to consider about Ricky Lambert, penalty taker. So many penalties in the Premier League last week. If you're looking at first goal scorer options, certainly worth considering penalty takers, who takes the penalties for teams. The other nail in the coffin for my thinking on this game for QPR is just a shocking record in the games against the other teams down at the bottom. It's just they don't seem to raise the game for this sort of game. They raise it against the big teams, but I just can't see it. I cannot see it at all.
No, I think we're all agreed. Southampton.
1.8. Yeah, I mean 3-0, maybe 12.7 is the way I'd be going. I think it could be very comprehensive.
OK, we're going to move on to Everton versus Reading.
Everton are 1.4 for this, draw is 5, and Reading are 9.4. Will their luck ran out against Wigan, but might come back again this week?
Possibly.
Against Everton.
It seems a good time to be playing Everton after so much promise. Their season's flagging by the week. They won 1 game in 6, and it was against an out-of-sorts West Brom. They did beat Oldham in the Cup in midweek, but yet again couldn't keep the clean sheet against the League One side, and it's now only 3 clean sheets from 15 home games this season. There's enough to convince me here just to take a chance on Reading at big prices.
Gareth?
One option that I've been very keen on the last few weeks is the Lafondra to score last. He's priced at 11 to score the first goal and the last goal. It's always the same price for first and last. You can just imagine Everton perhaps getting into a fairly comfortable lead early and then pressing the panic buttons later on. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a sort of 2-0 half-time lead for Everton be turned around to 2-1 or 2-2, something like that. You can almost predict the way these Everton games go, where they should be comfortable and then it just all seems to go wrong. And
it's also worth remembering that Reading's only win in the first half of the season came at the Majeski against Everton. So I'm going to go with the 9.7 about Reading.
So you're going for a Reading win.
Completing a double.
Both teams to score was an option with these games. That's as big as 1.9 because Reading aren't really fancied to score here.
That might be a good way
so
to play.
You just look at that record. It's sort of lost track of where they're up to now. 21 out of 27 this season now. It's staggering.
Right, we're going to move on to Wigan versus Liverpool. We know Liverpool much stronger at home, but both teams have been inconsistent this season.
Wigan are 4.4, draws 3.8, and Liverpool 1.85 odds on away from home.
We are going to go and listen to Mike Holden and see what he has to say about this particular game.
Liverpool won this fixture comfortably at Anfield earlier in the season, and they've been winning comfortably when they're winning at home lately anyway. So I think there's value in them on the Asian handicap, in backing them on the 3/4 ball minus 0.75. Because I think once they get the noses in front, they do tend to be comfortable.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree, but Gareth, explain what the odds are then, according to Mike.
OK, so we've got another complicated Asian handicap here, but I would really urge people, these bets are not as complicated as they seem. But what Mike's doing here is he's backing Liverpool minus 0.75 or minus 3/4 of a goal. So basically, he's predicting a confident victory. If they do win by 2 or more, his bet wins entirely. But he's got that insurance that if they win by 1 goal, still half of his bet is a winner.
Sam, do you agree that if Liverpool are going to beat
No,
Wigan?
I'm with you, Christina. I think Wigan could give them quite a tough evening. Mike mentions the fact that Liverpool have been very dominant at home lately, but it's their form away from home that concerns me more. It's 5 games without a win in all competitions on their travels since they won 3-1 at non-league Mansfield. So it gives Wigan hope, and we've seen a lot of, Luis Suarez is playing well. I like Jordan Henderson; he's been playing well in midfield. Gerrard has been playing well, but at the back they remain questionable, and we've seen individual errors from Martin Skrtel, Daniel Agger and Pepe Reina, who's frankly been on the decline for several seasons now. So it gives any opposition a chance, and Wigan are scoring goals. They've got 7 in their last 2 in League and Cup, and they've scored in each of their last 10 league games. They have Aruna Kone back. He made a goal-scoring return with a brace at Reading. Why not Wigan? I'm going to back Wigan to win here. The
play I like actually is to look at there being plenty of goals. If you go for over 3 goals in the game, you get an odds against that's priced at 2.2. If this is again it's a 2-way handicap, so if there are exactly 3 goals, you get your money back. But if there's 4 or more goals, which I think is a fair shout for there to be, that's priced at 2.2. 2-all is a correct score, maybe 11.5. I certainly wouldn't be confident enough in Liverpool to put my faith in the outright 1.85.
What other games do you fancy? I really like Swansea Newcastle, and I think Newcastle on with the rise of the French Revolution, I really like Newcastle to win.
Well, betting there, Swansea 2.2, Newcastle 3.55, the draw 3.5. It's difficult to know how Swansea will react from their cup win, really.
We did get a tweet from Thomas Jones 9000. He said Swansea 1, Newcastle 2. I'm kind of thinking along the same scoreline, or Swansea 2, Newcastle 3.
It's 9.9 for Thomas Jones. We'll see how he gets on this week.
From these other games, I actually don't think there's going to be many goals at all, really.
Yeah.
For me, Stoke-West Ham has all the look of an under 2.5 game.
And Kevin Nolan's out. He broke his foot.
Good. Yeah, two very sort of similar teams with a direct style. Neither score goals. Both in a poor run of form. I can quite see them sort of cancelling each other out here.
Do you think Stoke have got slight upper hand because they're playing at home?
Yeah, they have.
Place to go?
Yeah, it is, and obviously West Ham are awful on their travels. But if they win, it'll be by 1 or 2-0, I think.
What are the odds for that then?
I think under 2.5 goals, Stoke West Ham is 1.6. I also like no goal scorer at Sunderland Fulham, and in fact, all 4 of these games, if you were to do an under 2.5 goal accumulator, that's Stoke West Ham, Sunderland Fulham, Chelsea West Brom and Swansea Newcastle, that pays 12 for a fourfold.
Gareth?
Yeah, there's not that much to get excited about in these games. The one that I like is Chelsea against West Brom. Chelsea 1.4 and West Brom are at 8. I think the angle from a betting point of view is that West Brom are available at 8 to win a game where it plays exactly to their strengths. This go, sit deep, defend, absorb all the pressure for 75 minutes. The model that worked bang on the money at Anfield, I could see happening again. A repeat of that 2-0 scoreline is 26.5.
OK, we're going to move on to the second Clasico in 5 days. Real Madrid take on Barcelona at the Bernabeu.
Real Madrid are 2.9, Barcelona 2.4, and the draw is 3.7.
So what gives Barca the edge?
Well, I think, again, the fact that we're not...
Apart from, Lionel Messi, obviously.
Well, yeah, but he missed training on Wednesday with illness, so what kind of state he's going to be in for this game, we don't know. And I think also Real Madrid were up for that Copa del Rey game. It was a competition they could win. They can't win the league. They're 16 points behind, and they have Manchester United on Tuesday. We just don't know what kind of team and in what frame of mind Real Madrid are going to be in. But at the prices, it's hard to really look beyond them as the value because they were so good in that game in midweek.
Yeah.
You could see Alex Ferguson turning from an even deeper... you could see Sir Alex's face turning from an even deeper shade of red than it normally is because Madrid looked sensational in that game. They demolished the best team in the land. So I'd be reluctant to advise a strong bet at the moment, but certainly closer to the off. If Madrid are putting out a strong side, the fact that they're outsiders here is really good. You never know with Mourinho. He could be just so full of it. Look, we've won the cup game. We're going to win the Spanish Cup. We've got the Champions League game at Old Trafford on Tuesday. I wouldn't put anything beyond him. He could well put a very weakened side out here. One bet that always cops in this game. It's a very short price, but I know Sam's keen on it. Both teams to score. Yeah,
it's landed in the last 12 Clásicos in all competition. 1.5, and it is short, but I'd still be backing it at that price. Barcelona have been very poor lately by their standards. They've lost to Real Madrid and they lost to Milan in the Champions League. And it seems that very much the reason for that is the fact they just don't have a manager at the moment. Tito Villanueva is in America receiving treatment for his cancer again. But it feels like they need someone in charge. They've got the assistant in charge, but he doesn't really... He doesn't really want that role. So it's very hard to make a case for them here. As Gareth says, wait for the team news. If Real Madrid looks strong, I think if the price is still around, go with Madrid. OK, best bet for Saturday? It's a big price. It would take a lot for it to come in, but I'm going to go for Reading at Everton at 9.4. OK, Gareth?
I'm tempted by the big price West Brom, actually, but I'm going to go for an odds-on shot. Southampton at 1.8 look an absolute mustard bet to me. OK, I am going to go for Newcastle to beat Swansea 3-2. Newcastle to win 3-2 is priced at 31. Remember, for you to place your bets on any of these games and more, head to our website, which is www.heavenbet.com. You can tweet us at Best of the Bets and watch the show back at www.bestofthebets.com. Join us after the break where we look at the North London derby and we look at the European action. See you then.
HeavenBet.com, a new betting site from Poker Heaven.